Failure is often seen as a bad thing. But what if I told you that failure is actually a very positive thing, or at least it can be, if you allow it to be? What if I told you it's not as bad as you think it is? So I watched a video maybe 5 years ago when I was still in high school, and it was by this channel called Extra Credits. They focus on game development. I'll put the link to the original video in the description. But the video talked about a concept called fail faster. The idea is that once you have an idea, once there's something you want to do, you should get right to the failing part as soon as possible. What do I mean by that? What I mean is, as soon as you have an idea, a concept, a something in your mind that you want to make happen, the best thing for you to do right away is to get that thing in a workable state or position. If you want to start learning music theory, start learning music theory. Make the mistakes. Get to the mistakes as soon as possible. Because at the end of the day, the reason you'd want to do this is because no idea is fully formed. No idea starts out perfect. A lot of ideas, even fully baked ideas, have flaws anyway. They don't sound like good ideas. But the reason they succeeded, the reason they went through, is because someone took action on them without worrying about what would happen if it was a bad idea. What would happen if it just wasn't a good idea, if it wasn't going to work out. If you don't worry about that, you can actually start moving forward. And the great thing is, the faster you start, which also inevitably means the faster you fail, the quicker you can see what doesn't work and why it doesn't work. You can make the mistakes early on so that you can correct them early on. Because the problem is people want to think about it and, mull over the process. And then eventually they'll have some ideas in their heads that they've formed over days, weeks, months. And then further down the line, they have to make changes after like a month of thinking about it. And you might be a bit emotionally invested in what you thought was the perfect idea. So it becomes harder to change it later on because you're more invested in it anyways. It's just better if you have an idea today, start on it today somehow. Get it ready to work on. Work on it as soon as possible. See what the problems are because there are likely going to be problems. But there'll be problems if you start today. If you start next year, there'll be problems. But if you start today, then by next year, you may have sorted out all the problems in between. The best advice I could give you is to not protect your ego. Don't protect it. Let it be hurt. Let it feel a bit bad for a little while. Because at the end of the day, what you're going to get is you're going to become more confident after you end up failing and failing and failing. Then you get one success. 3 failures can give you one success and it'll be worth it because you can hold on to that success until kingdom come. And so if 3 failures gives you one success, make 6 mistakes in a day. If you realize the connection between a failure and a success, you're gonna want to fail way more often. You're gonna be like, I want a success. Well, if 3 failures equals one success, I gotta fail 3 times right now to succeed. Then after that, you'll be like, well, I want another one. I gotta fail 6 times, 9 times. I gotta fail 12 times in a day. I gotta fail 15 times every day to get 5 successes every day. To move 5 steps forward, I gotta fail 3 times. That's the kind of way you need to think. You kind of need to not let your ego be too precious to you that you can't move forward. You kind of gotta let your feeling of self-worth not be attached to how little you fail, but let it be attached to how much progress you make. And you need to realize that making a mistake, that failing, is not the opposite of progress. It's actually a prerequisite to moving forward. You need to realize the important part that failure plays in that. It's like if you're lifting weights, you want to lift until failure. It's a common phrase. It just means lift until your muscle can't take it anymore. And when that point arises, what happens is your muscle gets torn. Technically, well, it doesn't get torn. It gets injured. It gets damaged in a good way, not in an injury way. It gets damaged. Then what happens after it gets damaged is that with the proper diet and sleep and rest, it builds itself back stronger. And I think that's a perfect analogy for what I'm talking about. You want to train, you want to work, you want to move right until failure. Because until you get to failure, you're not seeing any growth. When you do get to failure, it hurts. hurts a bit. But if you ask me, I love the pain. Like when I wake up the next day and it's sore because I failed, I'm happy because I'm like, oh, this is awesome. That means I'm gonna grow. It's awesome. That means the muscle's getting bigger. It's a promise the muscle's getting bigger. There's no two ways about it. If that happened, then you're guaranteed it's getting bigger. That's how you should view life and all processes. If you make a failure, if you reach a failing point, if you fail at something, if you forget to remember something that you learned in a lesson or in class or something, you should be like, awesome. That means it's gonna get bigger. Well, your muscle, I guess. You get what I mean. That means you're gonna improve. It's a promise, it's a guarantee that if you look at what you failed at, you're gonna improve. And over time, you can see why you keep failing, and you can even learn faster. I think a lot of the problem with a lot of people, myself included, is that we're just afraid to start because we're afraid to fail or afraid to be bad or to suck at something. I think that's the case and a lot of the time. Even when you're not engaged in like some super creative endeavor, like you're not an artist, but you want to start something, you want to learn something, but you're scared to get it wrong. You're scared to make a lot of mistakes. You don't want to fail. So you're scared to start. You hesitate. You don't want to learn a new language because you don't want to be wrong. You don't want to get a lot of things wrong. You don't want to sound dumb. So that keeps people from actually getting started and moving forward, which is not what I would recommend. I recommend people to fail as fast as possible, to fail as soon as possible. You want to learn new language, start learning the new language. You're scared you don't have enough time to make enough progress fast enough. That's okay. As long as you start and you keep doing it consistently, you're going to get there. You want to learn music theory, but you don't want to, like, music theory seems too huge. You feel like you fail all the time because you don't think you'll be able to remember stuff. Just start anyway. Fail a million times. By next year, you'll have failed enough times to learn something new, to know something new. When you have a bunch of failures, it can actually help you realize what you're doing wrong, even in a learning process. It can help you realize what mistakes you're making over and over again. But of course, when you fail, you need to be aware of what you're doing. Because a lot of people fail at something and they just do it again and again and again and again in this sort of mechanical process. But what you want to do is be alert. When you make a mistake, actually investigate it. Like, what did I do wrong? Why did it fail? This reason, that reason. Okay, cool. Let me try to not do that again. Rather than just doing things over and over again in a cycle and just say you tried. Because, you kind of got to put in a little more effort than that to move forward. So, to wrap it up, failure happens no matter what you do. And I heard this quote, and it goes, the difference between a novice and an expert is that the expert has failed more times than the novice has even tried. So all that separates us is the consistency, the time, the effort, and of course, the failure that we subject ourselves to. Because the more you fail, the more you know. And it's just that simple. A lot of people talk about it. Your failures just put you up, prop you up for success. And that's the case. So hope you all enjoyed the video. Hope you learned something. Hope you actually apply this in your life because I think it's incredibly important. Do you know what? Come back to the video in a week. Comment what you changed, what you failed at. Or come back in a week and comment that you didn't do anything, that you failed to do something. And that comment will help you do something in the future. Honestly, genuinely, I think it'll help you out. That's all I have to say. Thank you for watching. Be sure to subscribe if you like the video. Want to see more videos like this. I am genuinely going to start uploading every week at least. So have a great rest of your day.